Shut up. You mean? That's
Yeah.
a local band.
Yeah. All right. Well, you gonna say who it is? Or are you just gonna leave me
Slightly
hanging here?
intoxicated.
Yeah, they're a lot intoxicated. That's what they are. Anyways, guess who just walked into the room and changed the whole energy of the room and everything? When you have a superstar like Primo Scordino, the whole show changes. There's no more slightly intoxicated. There's no more country music. There's no more egg hunts and stupid events.
It's just wrestling.
There's pro wrestling by a Neo G, by a man that has been there from the very beginning, by a man that's wrestled in every single Neo pro wrestling event ever. And
took a big cut on the head.
And a former
a
Grand Independent
a couple
champion.
shows ago.
How many tag team titles have you won?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of
A lot.
And you're the Grand Independent champion, former.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it all.
Yeah.
But apparently I haven't done it all because we got a big show April 13th.
Yeah.
And I'm in a match that I've never been in before. So 24 years in this business, and I'm still doing firsts here. So
Wow, that is amazing. I wouldn't even have thought that. The Ultimate Warfare match. You have never been in one of those before.
No.
Which is a War Game style match if you watch WWE and stuff like
yeah,
that.
so it's kind of like a mix of the War Games
Yeah.
match and the traditional Survivor Series match.
Yeah.
So what does that entail? For those who don't know, what does that mean?
So the rules will be 2 guys from each team start. It's 4-on-4. 2 guys from each team start. Are you moving my microphone on me while I'm trying to talk?
The microphone is horrible.
The microphone is being a
It's
little
going in and
sketchy
out.
right now, so I'm trying to...
Back to the superstar in the room.
I'll explain the rules real quick. The match begins with the one member from each team entering the ring. Which, how is that decided? By a coin toss, or is it by the teams that choose their own member?
Well, whoever the team decides wants to start the match.
Okay.
And then the coin toss will decide who gets the advantage.
Okay, I got you. Participants can be eliminated by pinfall or submission. So this isn't traditional War Games where all guys got to be in the ring before that happens.
Correct.
This can happen at any given time. A guy could be pinned or submitted.
Exactly.
So a team could take advantage early on before everybody is in there.
100%. It could
So
go
this
up
is
2 to
gonna get
1,
crazy.
3-1, 4-1.
Yeah.
4-2, 3-2.
Yes. After 5 minutes, a member from each team will be determined by coin, like you said, Primo, coin cost. They enter the ring. During that, can't even read this, Samsino garbage. During that, why can't I blow this up? Can you get this on your screen? I'm trying to read the Ultimate Warfare rules. This is the worst interview ever.
How am I supposed to get it up on my screen?
Okay, I'll go over it right now.
All right, go over
2
it.
guys start in the ring.
Yes.
1 from each team.
Yes.
A coin toss decides which team then gets the advantage. After 5 minutes, the team that won the coin toss, they pick another entrant to come into the match. It's then 2-on-1. Then every 3 minutes, a new person from the opposite team will enter the ring.
Yeah.
The match ends after all the members of one team have been eliminated.
Yeah.
Eliminations can happen anytime during the match.
Yes.
Only by pinfall or submission.
Right.
So there's no disqualification, no count out. The winner is the surviving either members or member
Yes.
of a team.
Okay.
So it's going to get a little nutty. So it could be 3-on-1, it could be 4-on-1, it could be 3-on-2 at any given time. Plus there's going to be, like I said, no disqualifications. So it can get, it's going to be a little crazy.
And in these teams, you're talking Tyler Turva and the Deadly Venoms, Jake O'Reilly, El Tornado, Anthony Darko on one side, yourself, Stickball, Scotty the Body, and Cody Diener.
Correct.
This is going to be crazy. Now, you've already been attacked on the road. There's been video put out there. You were on the road, and the Venoms and Tyler Turva attacked you on a recent show.
Yeah, they tried getting the one up, but
Yeah.
I mean, luckily for me, Scotty the Body was there.
Yeah.
But
Which is the same thing that they did when at Neo Rising when they tried to
Yes.
take Stickball out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
because the Deadly Venoms can't get the job done when they're face to face with us.
Yeah.
We've proven this show after show after show.
Yeah.
This goes back 10 years to Neo. 10 years ago, they couldn't get it done. We come back. They're still up to their old tactics. I don't know how many times we have to beat them before they just decide that we're the better team.
Right.
But they're always trying to one-up us from behind.
Right.
In this situation, there is no from behind, right? Because we're going face to face,
Yes.
and every time we're face to face, they lose.
Yes, and so they're not going to know. I mean, we really don't know who's going to be first or anything in the ring. So it's not like, because really you would think that the Venoms and Turva are going to go after you or Stickball first.
You would imagine.
You would imagine, because that's traditionally what they've been doing. That may not happen this time. You got Diener there, you got Scotty the Body there.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean,
after
this is very unpredictable as to what's going to happen.
After they tried pulling a sneak attack on me, I may volunteer to start the match to get a little retribution myself.
Yes.
You know?
Okay.
But I will confer with my team first, and we will decide
Yes.
what we think is the best strategy to go from there. But, I mean, I'm a little heated, right? So I'm ready to go.
You're very heated, man. You've been and you've been smashed with the bucket on one of these shows. Like, I mean, or you're getting beat up. Let me ask you this. Just throwing it out there. Can you trust Cody Diener? Can you trust Scotty the Body? Like, the relationship you're with the Italiano, like, you know, what would happen?
I do. I believe so.
I mean, what if the Italianos are out of this Ultimate Warfare and it ends with Diener winning or Scotty the Body winning, or, you know, I mean, you got a little bit of a mix of guys here that could be in this for their own reasons.
Yeah, but you know what's the old saying, is your enemy is my enemy?
Yeah.
And what would that win really do for those guys?
Well, we don't know. Obviously,
We don't know.
protect them
This is
to the
about-
top of the Neo rankings,
This
but
is
this
a-
is more of
a fight.
I know.
personal war.
Yes.
Exactly. So why would they want to go and try and win instead of...
I don't know. It just seems to me when you're beat up in the parking lot, when you're beat up on the road, like, I don't know. Is there anybody you could trust? Is there anybody you could trust? Cody
So you
Diener,
think-
I
so
could
you
just say
think-
from firsthand experience, has turned on people before.
So maybe
you know,
maybe they...
But on the flip side of that, Cody has also had my back before as well.
for sure. Yeah.
So, I mean,
Has-
as of right
has
now, I have
Scott-
no reason not to
Has
trust him.
Scotty the Body?
All I'm saying is, from a fan's
What if
point
he
of
was
view,
planted by them to gain your trust?
Listen,
And
this
then
is
he's
war.
just gonna-
And you know what? In war, there's always things that are going to come along where you got to
Yeah.
pivot and adjust.
Yeah.
So whatever comes our way, we'll figure it out. But as of
Alright.
right now, I'm focused on getting retribution and taking the deadly venoms out once and for all.
Neo Pro Wrestling is all about war. It's all about fighting. All I'm saying is, from a fan's point of view, if I was buying a ticket to this, that's what I'd be interested in seeing, is what's going to happen, who's going to be brought to the ring first, who's going to get eliminated, and who's going to win.
I was adding to your point as what if you trust them. I was saying, what if they planted Scotty the Body? I was adding to your comment. Don't
Right.
get
Well, I don't
mad
think
at
anybody's
me.
planting anything. I think
You never know.
You just never know what's going to happen in
It's
the ring.
a war.
Yeah.
You know, the horse thingy.
Horse thingy? What the
Horse
hell are you
thingy?
talking about?
So when
Where's my pasta? Last time I was here,
That war-
you promised me pasta.
the something horse, the whatever.
I'm in training for a big match over here. I
You're
got to keep
pissed.
my strength
Yeah, I know.
up. And she's talking about some war horse.
She's
over
actually
here.
dropped her
The
ball on the
horse-
whole show today.
It was
She's-
like I think it was like a Greek.
nobody knows what the hell you're
They
talking
brought out
about.
like they thought that they were bringing this horse into this wooden horse
Do I look
into their
I'm Italian. We
castle,
win every
and
war
it
we're
ended
in.
up being filled with the enemy's soldiers, and they ended up taking over the castle.
All right, you've been
freaking
taking way
horses,
too
you
much
know?
drugs. Nobody knows what you're talking about. Primo,
Back to wrestling.
yes. What are we going to get out of this match ultimately? Are you taking them all out?
Ultimately,
Yeah.
what the fans
I mean,
are gonna get
how do
out
you
of this
train?
match-
How do you train for a match
Trojan
like this? How do you?
horse.
Oh my god.
Trojan
Shut up!
horse.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Ultimately, what the fans are going to get out of this match is a match that they've never seen before.
I mean, it could be the greatest match in Neo Pro Wrestling history. Really,
It very well could
I mean,
be.
it's going to go down as a classic. That's for sure.
It's going to be very memorable.
Yeah.
A lot of chaos,
A lot of chaos.
some anger, chaos.
Yeah. And you know, when we see the Italianos in any sort of street fight situation, any time that the rules are thrown out the window,
Yeah.
it goes all around the building.
Well, there's a few rules.
Yeah, no, there's
But-
not much. There's not much. There's just looking to get a win here. That's all there is. But it's, you know what? Speaking of warfare, there's a lot of war on this show. You got the ladies
Yep.
that have been battling it out for the round women
Yes.
for the
Let's
women's
talk.
title.
Let's talk about this next phase in the women's championship round robin. What does this all mean? So, because this is a three-way. What what does that mean for the next step? Or is
Well,
this the final step? How
This
does
is not the final step.
Okay.
No, so it was a round robin tournament to see who accumulates the most points
Yes.
out of the three of them, and the top two then wrestle for the belt.
Okay.
We've ended up at this point
Three-way
where
tie.
all of them all have the same amount of points.
Yeah.
So now this three-way is to determine which one is going to be knocked out of the tournament.
Right.
So,
Okay.
unlike a traditional three-way where only one person wins,
Yes.
this is slightly different because only one person loses.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
there
the
we go.
person in this, the woman in this match that loses will be knocked out of the tournament, and then the next two will go on to wrestle for the belt
Okay.
on our next show in June.
So how it's gonna work? I'm assuming is that one fall for each person.
Not for each person. It's
for
just
each elimination?
One fall.
Straight one fall.
Straight
Yeah.
fall. For example,
So that person goes on.
if Casey Spinelli, for example, gets pinned,
Yes.
then in June it will be Salise, Sparks, and Nikita for the belt.
Okay. So first one pinned is
Is
out.
out.
All three women
There we go.
wrestle in the ring at the same
That's
time.
all I was just saying for that. I didn't know if like
Well, we're
it
telling you.
I didn't.
You don't have
I
to
don't.
recap
That's
it.
why I was asking. You're such a dink ball.
No, all three women will be in the
Fragger.
ring at the same time, competing
Dink
against
ball.
each other.
Fragger
And
nagger.
whoever loses the match is out of the tournament, and whoever wins the match, both two winners
Yes.
are going to go on for the June show.
So essentially two of them could team up and just pin the other.
Very well.
it
Yep.
could go anywhere.
Could go anywhere.
It's like Ultimate Warfare. It could go
Secret
anywhere.
alliances.
The whole show is
I wonder if there's any secret alliances.
the whole show is going to
We'll
get
find
crazy.
out.
It's a question
we'll find
to
out
be
April
asked.
13th.
This whole show is going to get Neo crazy. That's for sure. What Neo is known for.
If anything, I see Silesia and Nikita teaming up.
You may be right.
That's my
you may
call.
be wrong.
That's my call right now.
You're probably wrong. You're probably wrong.
Okay.
You're probably definitely wrong. But
Well, I'm just saying what I think because I don't know.
we're not done with Warfare. Submission match. Jeremy Elliott,
Match, Yep.
Jesse Bieber. This has been going on.
Yes.
Jesse Bieber has been undefeated on every single show.
Yeah,
Thus
4-0,
far.
and he just came off a big audition on Canada's Got Talent.
Right.
Jeremy Elliott, he's constantly always training. I feel like this match kind of favors Jeremy a little bit more.
Yeah, submissions.
This is right up his martial arts alley.
That's right.
And rightfully so, because, Bieber's been cheating to get the upper hand on him every show.
And do you think Bieber coming off of Canada's Got Talent is prepared for a submission match? I mean, like his ego, you know how it is probably right to his head at this point.
Oh,
He's working to get notice on Canada's Got Talent and not working in the dojo learning submissions.
The
where
one thing
Jeremy
about
is doing
Jeremy
that.
Elliott, he's never stopped training.
Yeah, never stops training.
So if Jesse Bieber is distracted by trying to make his $1 million season,
That's right.
very well could play against him.
Totally.
But on the flip side of that, props to him for getting on the show.
But it's not wrestling.
It's not wrestling.
And it's not a submissions match.
Yeah, so he better be in the gym training.
Now, in this submission match, is that different from an I Quit match in a sense that, I would say the style of the match is going to be going for submissions as opposed to you could do anything to make a guy quit.
Yeah, an I Quit match is more no rules, weapons can be used, all that kind of stuff, and you're just trying to make a person, you're trying to beat a person up until they quit.
And I've never seen Jesse Bieber do any sort of submission.
No. So a submission match is a normal wrestling match. It's just the win has to be by submission.
That's right.
Can't be pinfall.
Yeah.
Can't be disqualification. Can't be count out. It has to be submission.
Yeah.
My question is, what role will Will play?
That's a good question. We don't know that either. So
Well,
we're gonna
he'll be
have
with
to
his
sit and find
dad.
out.
Yeah, I know, but he's always got
Problems.
he's always got his
Yeah.
dad's back.
Well, I'm sure he'll always have his dad's back, but I mean, Will is not in the match necessarily.
No,
I mean, once you're
but
in,
it's a
once you're in the
submission
ring
match,
and
right?
it's
So-
Bieber versus Elliott, it's those two participants in the ring, and one of them is going to come out and one of them's got to submit.
Maybe
So
William
see-
might not
I
even be at ringside. But maybe he'll just be watching from the crowd. Who knows?
that's right. Yeah.
That's Jeremy's decision.
I could see if he's just sitting in the crowd, something happening.
I mean, I think it would be smart for Jeremy not to bring him to the ringside, to be honest with you.
It seems
yeah.
like every time he's at ringside, something happens where
Yeah.
he ends up getting distracted or
Yes.
something with him, and it ends up almost being a downfall for
But
him.
But
Jeremy
there's
is.
also the likelihood that Jesse Bieber's got Jeremy Elliott in some sort of situation where feels like he needs to stick up and comes ringside and gets involved and messes everything up.
They're very close. They're very close.
I know.
You know, and it
There's
just
so
seems
many
weird. But
possibilities.
that could be the one disadvantage I would say to
Yet again,
Jeremy
this is
Elliott.
why you have to be there on April 13th.
That's right.
So
to
many
see how everything
possibilities.
plays out.
Go neopro.ca. We also
Yeah.
got Bryce.
Hanson.
Yes.
The young lion.
Yes. Against
And
Daddy Davis. That's right.
Is this like a teacher teaching the kid a lesson?
This Bryce Hanson has been really making a name for himself across Ontario. That's for sure.
has
He's in
his
good
head
shape.
but has his head gotten a little bit too big that he's got to crack the whip?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Bryce, he's only a 19-year-old kid. He's like Jay said, he's making a lot of waves in wrestling.
Yeah.
He's doing everything right as far as how you get into the business and how you
Sure.
approach the business.
Yeah.
He's got a phenomenal amount of talent. He's got a great look, super athletic. As far as Daddy Davis cracking the whip, I think the whole thing is Daddy Davis is trying to crack the whip on everybody because he thinks he's the ultimate
And isn't it interesting?
father figure.
Isn't it interesting when you rewind? When you rewind a decade or probably 2 decades back, Daddy Davis, he used to be the guy that was doing everything right to break into the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he was clean. He was doing everything right. He was getting trained by the right people. And now it's almost an arrogance that I never thought I'd see out of Daddy Davis.
It's different.
Yeah, it's very different.
So
You know-
maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the young lion needs to put somebody back down to ground.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's definitely, I think, what's going to be in the mind of Daddy Davis, taking out Bryce Hanson. Yeah.
Or Bryce trying to take out.
That'll be an
Daddy
interesting
Davis.
match, and I'll tell you one thing:
Right?
if Bryce Hanson, with the matches I've seen him doing across Ontario, like Primo says, making waves, if he can get a win over Daddy Davis, that would be something. That would
That will catapult his career.
catapult
Yeah.
his career.
That would shoot him right up to the top of the rankings.
And Daddy
Neo-
Davis being embarrassed as a Neo G.
Yeah.
That's not going to look good.
Yeah.
He's definitely not going to be happy. That's a match I could see.
He's going to be glad he has his diaper bag for himself.
I could see Bryce taking that match, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I could see Daddy Davis doing a slip up, a slip on the banana peel, not paying attention. He's been very interactive with the crowd as of late, and he could turn his back and something could go wrong. Something could go wrong with Daddy Davis, that's for sure. Bryce could take that match.
Yeah,
I
he
believe
100%
so.
could. He's just
Yeah.
got to be very wary about making sure Davis doesn't get anything out of that diaper bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know what's stuffed
You
in that
never
diaper
know what
bag.
he has.
You never
crammed
know.
in there, right?
You never know.
That's the craftiness of a veteran versus a rookie.
Yeah.
And there's still more matches to be announced.
Yeah, so we still have to announce the championship match, which we can just announce that right now. It's Tarek is putting out an open challenge for the belt.
An open
the
challenge.
show.
Yes.
His first title defense, so we'll see who's going to answer that.
Yeah, that's
It's Neil, right? You never know what's going to go
You never
on.
know what's going to happen. You never
I
know
don't
who's
know.
going to
I
be.
can't even think of who it might
I mean,
be.
an open challenge to me, it sounds like that could be anybody from any company from
I know.
anywhere in Ontario. An
and
open
it could
challenge
be
is an open
anyone
challenge.
that already has a match scheduled.
Well, it's anybody that wants to step up.
Yeah.
I would say.
Abilities.
Now
The
who
storylines.
now who picks the person that steps up? I guess it's going to be Tarek.
What if there's more than one who wanted their chance? How do you decide?
You know
Is
what?
it
Tarek
first
requested this open challenge,
First
so
come, first serve.
Yeah.
it's up to him, right? If he's putting the challenge out there, it's a matter of who shows up, and then we go from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, the person that will make the ultimate decision on that will be Notorious TID, who is still in charge here at Neo Pro Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, if an announcement has to be made, if a judgment has to be thrown down, Tid will be there and he'll get the job done. Speaking of, we talked about Daddy Davis, we talked about those things, but let's talk about Wrestling Dad. Wrestling Dad to me, good friend to you.
Yeah.
Jesse Scott is going to be there. Tiberius King is going to be there. And he's calling it quits, retirement. And what's your thoughts on that, Primo?
Sad.
Yeah. You guys have been together from the very start.
Yeah, we
Trained
trained
together from the very
together,
start.
traveled together,
Yeah.
and everything. I was his first match.
Oh, really?
Wow.
You know, and I think a part of me always thought we might have ended our careers together. And unfortunately, it's really sad, the circumstances
Yeah.
around his retirement.
Right.
You know, everybody at the shows knows that, he's battling cancer.
Right.
And it's a tough fight on him. It's hard.
Yeah.
And he's decided that it's time to, as he said, he would never retire. But now, kind of here we are, because the circumstances are what they are. And,
Yes.
we can't fight nature taking its course, unfortunately.
No.
So if I know Jesse, he's not going to want it to be a sad occasion.
I don't think so either.
It's
No.
going to be a celebration.
Right.
As much as the circumstances surrounding it are sad, and we're all sad that it
Yes.
has to happen.
Yes.
Anybody that knows him knows, like, this is going to be more of a, I don't want to say a passing of the torch, but it's going to be more of a
Similar, almost. He was just inducted into the Hall of Fame last
Yeah.
time we saw him in the ring, and
Yeah.
this will be something like that. And I don't think it's a wave goodbye necessarily. You'll still
No.
see Jesse at shows. It's just probably going to be the last time he goes into the ring.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's all about, he's always been about pushing the business forward and helping others and doing what he can in his ability to bring the best out of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, as much as he's retiring, he'll still be around.
Yeah.
But yes, the situation itself is sad.
Now you were around. You were around when Neo very first started. Even going back to the Fighting Spirit, some of the fans haven't even seen those old classic shows at the Polish Hall.
No.
But you were around because Jesse started this Neo Pro Wrestling.
Yes. Yeah.
Neo Spear Pro Wrestling, the old FSPW back in those days.
Yeah.
And you were around back then.
Yes,
like,
I was,
how was those experiences? Because there was an actual takeover at one point.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, I can only speak from my own personal
Yeah.
experience and point of view. Like, me being very young back then, like a lot of people don't know, I had my first match when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse was actually sitting in the front row at that match.
That's insane.
And then
Yeah.
he came to the wrestling school that I was at the time, and then that's where we met, and that's where we trained together. And then I had to take time off. So I wasn't technically by law allowed to wrestle.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't 18, and I didn't know this at the time. The athletic commission was around back then, where you had to be 18 to be a licensed professional.
Yeah.
So I kind of went through some stuff. Jesse still, of course, we met other people. They got the whole Neo thing rolling. I was around from the beginning. I was still setting up and tearing down the rings and helping out at the shows and all this stuff. So when it finally came time for me to get back in the ring, Jesse was the first one there that was, all right, it's your time, get back out there. And those old experiences were just crazy because we were just this band of guys that loved wrestling.
Yeah.
And we all just wanted to wrestle. And back then it was all like, let's just put on these shows that as fans we would want to sit back and watch and do all this crazy stuff. And it ended up becoming, like Eric Young, Showtime Eric Young, or WB's Eric Young, Sandy's Eric Young. He said before, it was lightning in a bottle.
That's right.
And it really was, because it ended up going on to be this, because especially there's very little footage of it, it ended up in Wrestling in Ontario being this mythical,
and
these shows were this and these shows were that, and it propelled so many people's careers, which it did.
And it also was like one of the very early wrestling promotions here in Niagara, at least, like even Ontario. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of wrestling promotions. Like back when I first started watching indie wrestling, there was kind of just like Ringing Ears, if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Like a Fuego kind of thing in Toronto. Scott D'Amore in Windsor, and out here you had Jesse Scott.
Yeah.
And his vision, and like you see all these promotions now, but he was like the one that kind of started things here in Niagara. And that whole Polish hall was 700-800 people jammed in there, completely over fire code. That's for sure.
There's shows to this day that bring in, WWE wrestlers and AEW wrestlers, and they don't draw the same crowds that we had back then with just our local guys because back then it was just a passion that we all had.
Yeah.
That it was like, let's just go out and put on the best shows we can because we love this business. We want to wrestle and we want to make something out of it.
Yeah.
And out of that was born this camaraderie and this brotherhood that really Jesse was the forefront of it.
For sure.
He brought everybody together.
And the respect that the boys have for him, that we're talking about, the body counts, the TJ
Everything,
Harleys, the Crazy Steves started there.
Everybody, Diener, Spears.
Yeah. Jake O'Reilly, Sean Spears,
People that went on to, future careers in WB, like WB Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix came through our doors.
Yeah.
Wow.
TNA Knockouts Hall of Famers, Tracy, Angel, Angelina Love, and
Sin, the ultimate Sin.
The list goes on.
Oh, it goes on
AEW's
forever.
The Bunny, TNA's Rosemary.
Right. Pepper Parks who came through here.
Yeah, and it was all because everyone loved and respected Jesse.
Even Daddy Davis was trained by Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And it's because everyone loved Jesse, loved his passion for wrestling, and loved the fact that he just wanted to help propel people as much as possible.
I remember when I started, I was like with the Chris Orange kind of thing and the Chuck Simpsons, that kind of crew. And I was the manager with the Jack Daniels bottle. And then when Jesse had started Neo again at the Fight Club.
Great days, yeah. Great shows.
He said to come in as a manager, which I couldn't believe that he was even throwing that offer out there. And he says, like, no, there's going to be no Jack Daniels. This is how you do things right. He put me with top guys. He put me with Diener, Tyson, all those guys, Andrew Davis, Scotty Turner. And he taught me, and he was the real wrestling dad that said, no, this is the etiquette that you have to have in this business. And that's, I think, one thing that I will always remember that Jesse did for me. The reason that he is a wrestling dad for me and is because he taught me the right way. Because back in the day, I didn't know. I was just kind of going off of what I thought was cool, like the NWO or something. And he was like, no. If you want to progress, you gotta do it this way. So shout outs to Jesse, man. And the retirement is going to be a big deal. I think the fans, are going to be there. And, I have a hard time saying the words because it's not like I guess it is a celebration when it comes right down to it, or at least what he would want. But it's not what he wants as far as this isn't. He would have
I don't
wrestled
think
to
this
the
is
end.
how he pictured his retirement.
No.
But I don't think anyone pictures their retirement in any type of way.
No, I guess you don't get to choose. You really don't get to choose. But you know what? He put together a hell of a great promotion. Still running today, man. And
and he deserves his moment.
He deserves his moment.
Right? He deserves his moment in front of the fans. He deserves his moment in front of his family. He deserves his moment in front of the boys in the back.
Yes.
So yeah, it's going to be sad, but it's going to be bittersweet.
Yeah.
Right. So
Emotional.
Yes.
Well, it's going to be a moment for Tiberius King, but it's also one hell of a card.
It's going to be a moment for all the fans, too.
For sure. Yeah. This is why we're all going to be there.
Yeah.
Still time to get your tickets. Go neopro.ca. April 13th is the show. Columbus Club of Niagara. Let's run through some of the matches. Yeah, 6990. Of course, we talked about Bryce Hanson and Daddy Davis. We talked about the three-way women's match. Yeah.
Jeremy Elliott and Jesse Bieber.
Yes, submissions
the
match.
Three-way, Sleazy Sparks, Nikita, and why did I just...
Casey Spinelli.
Casey Spinelli.
Yes.
And then, yes, you mentioned Bryce, and then the...
Ultimate Warfare.
Warrior.
This is going to be a match that I was going to think is going to be...
Super Spring Showdown.
Off the hook. That Ultimate Warfare, man, is going to be one that you're not going to want to miss. This has been a long time. This has been a long feud, and this is where it's going to end. You got Diener, you got Scotty the Body, you got the Italianos.
Yeah.
4 heavy hitters against the Deadly Venoms.
That's all that's been announced. There's still more to come.
Yeah, and plus Tarek. We don't know what's going to happen in that main event. Anybody can come into the open challenge.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That's
Shit's
lot.
on, as they say.
Because that's what, like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's still more matches to be announced.
Yeah, go neopro.ca. We have updates all the time.
Super excited.
And check it out on Facebook as well. So
and it's spring. The weather's going to be nice.
And get your tickets, man, because Neo sells out, baby. And that building's going to be full.
And
so you're going to want to secure your seat.
Fun.
Why do you always talk over me when I'm trying to do this? We know it's super crazy fun. It's pro wrestling.
Yeah.
pro wrestling. It's Ultimate Warfare. It's pretty sure.
You come from the whole idea of like being behind the scenes and in wrestling. I am half coming from the fans' perspective.
All right.
And the excitement in that.
Right.
So let me have my moment.
You have fun watching a fight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets a little too intense and I have to cover my eyes.
I'll tell you one thing that the fans like that we never mentioned, but the one thing that the fans like is this is one of the few shows at Niagara where alcohol is served.
Yeah.
And when you see a fight like Ultimate Warfare, some people like to drink. You know, and
I'm gonna need a drink after.
I love watching and listening to the fans.
Yeah.
And like they're like the chants back and forth
Yeah.
between the groups of everybody and everything. Everybody gets into it and they have their own little chants that they all know.
As a wrestler, we love that too.
It's so awesome. It gives me like goosebumps.
Right.
I get all like, whoo,
Yeah.
shiver me timbers.
There you go. There it
Yeah.
is, man. Spring
Yeah.
Showdown. Primo, you got
Yes.
any last words?
No, just come on out April 13th. Yet again, Neo will deliver a show that only Neo can.
Yeah.
And come on out for the party.
Yeah, don't sleep on this, man.
No.
Don't sleep on this because this is
Go no.
this is going to be one of the shows that if you miss this, you're missing some crazy shit. I'll tell you that.
Go
That's for sure.
neopro.ca.
Yeah.
I was trying to wait till you stopped talking.
That's okay. Go neopro.ca. You want to get to some live
Let's-
music?
Yes. You're gonna sit right there, okay?
Yeah, well,
right.
where else is he going to go?
I don't know. Just telling him to sit right there.
All right, Friday and Saturday, the live music in the clubs.